Imagine life as a vast orchestra, where every note, every pause, every crescendo is guided by an unseen conductor. Rhythm. It hums beneath the surface of our existence, a quiet force that shapes the arc of our days and the chapters of our years. From the moment we take our first breath, we step into this grand composition, swaying to its tempos without always knowing the tune. Rhythm is the heartbeat of the universe, and we are its dancers, moving through cycles of light and shadow, effort and ease, joy and sorrow. In the beginning, as infants, we are swept into the melody of discovery. Each sound, each touch vibrates with wonder, a staccato burst of energy propelling us forward. Youth follows like a spirited allegro, full of fire and dreams, where the rhythm quickens, urging us to chase horizons and climb peaks. Then comes maturity, a slower, more measured tempo. Responsibility weaves into the song and reflection adds depth to the notes. Finally, old age arrives, a gentle adagio, teaching us the grace of stillness, the wisdom of resting between beats. Every phase has its melody, its purpose, a movement in the symphony that carries us from cradle to twilight. Yet, rhythm isn't confined to these grand sweeps of time. It threads through the fabric of our everyday lives, subtle as a whisper, persistent as a drumbeat. Some mornings we wake to a bright, upbeat rhythm, our spirits soaring, ready to paint the world with bold strokes. Other days, the tempo slows and we turn inward, craving quiet, our energy dimming like a candle flickering in the wind. This ebb and flow, this dance between vitality and retreat, is no accident. It's the pulse of existence, a pendulum tracing its arc within us all. Our emotions, too, follow this unseen metronome. There are hours when joy lifts us like a breeze, the world aglow with possibility, every color sharper, every laugh louder. Then, without warning, the pendulum swings, and we find ourselves in shadow, restless, heavy, or simply still. To fight these shifts is to wrestle with the wind. They are as natural as the tides, as inevitable as the turning of seasons. The trick isn't to halt the motion, but to learn its steps, to sway with its rhythm rather than stumble against it. Picture a river winding through a valley. You can't clutch its waters in your hands, forcing them to stay. They'll slip through, racing onward. Life's rhythm is much the same. When you're riding a crest of triumph, savor it, let its warmth fill you, but don't cling too tightly. The current will shift. When you're wading through a trough of struggle, take heart. The waters always rise again. A poet once wrote that every storm passes, every night yields to dawn. This is the pendulum's promise. No extreme lasts forever, and balance waits at the center. This rhythm isn't a cage or a curse, it's a guide, an invitation to join the greater dance of the cosmos. When we stop resisting, when we tune our ears to its cadence, we find not just peace but a kind of freedom. Life becomes less a battle and more a journey, a flowing waltz with the universe itself. The pendulum within. Now imagine your heart as a pendulum, suspended in the vast chamber of your being. It swings ceaselessly, left to joy, right to sorrow, left to calm, right to chaos. One moment you're weightless, carried by laughter or the thrill of a new idea. The next, you're anchored by doubt, a quiet ache settling in your chest. This isn't a flaw. It's the music of being alive, a melody woven into the fabric of all that exists. Too often, though, we try to outrun this motion. In our brightest hours, we grasp at the light, desperate to bottle it, to live forever in its glow. We build walls of expectation around happiness, as if we could trap it like a firefly in a jar. But the pendulum doesn't pause. It swings on. And the harder we cling, the sharper the drop when it pulls away. Likewise, in our darker moments, we thrash against the weight, scrambling for an exit, as if sadness were a thief to be chased off. Yet the more we resist, the deeper it digs, like roots seeking water.
Here's the secret the pendulum whispers. Let it move. Watch it sway without chasing or fleeing. When joy arrives, greet it like a guest. Cherish its visit, knowing it won't stay. When grief knocks, don't bar the door. Sit with it, let it speak, trusting it too will leave. An ancient sage once said that mastery lies not in stopping the swing, but in standing at its pivot, unshaken by its arc. This is the still point, the eye of the storm, where peace blooms amid the motion. Try this. The next time a wave of feeling crashes over you, be it delight or despair, pause, breathe. Ask yourself, what is this? Where is it carrying me? Don't judge it, don't wrestle it, just watch. You'll find the current slows, the chaos softens. It's like stepping back from a painting to see the whole canvas. The brushstrokes make sense from a distance. Think of your emotions as a sky. Some days, it's a brilliant blue, sun blazing, clouds drifting lazily. Others, it's a tempest, gray and churning, rain pelting the earth. You can't command the weather, but you can choose your shelter, your stance. The rhythm of feeling isn't you, it's the storm passing through, the sun breaking free. You are the sky, vast and steady, holding space for it all. To know this is to unshackle yourself from the extremes, to dance lightly through the highs and lows without losing your footing. The scales of compensation beneath rhythm lies another law, a silent partner in the dance. Compensation. It's the universe's way of keeping the books, ensuring no note rings out without its echo. Picture a pair of scales, perfectly poised. One side rises and the other falls, each movement mirrored, each weight balanced. This is the heartbeat of creation, from the smallest pebble to the farthest star. You see it everywhere. A pendulum swings right then left, its reach equal in both directions. The ocean surges at high tide, only to retreat at low, its rhythm a steady breath. Summer blazes, then winter bites, each season a counterpoint to the last. Even a bird soaring skyward must eventually descend, its flight a brief rebellion against gravity's pull. This isn't chance, it's the law of compensation at work, a thread of order stitching the chaos together. But it goes deeper than the physical. Compensation governs the unseen realms too, our minds, our spirits, our souls. The hermit sages, those quiet seekers of truth, taught that every peak of pleasure carries the seed of pain, every valley of hardship cradles the promise of joy. It's not punishment, it's equilibrium. The more you taste of life's sweetness, the more you'll know its sting. The sharper your wounds, the richer your healing. Consider this: a life of simple joys, bread fresh from the oven, a friend's laughter, may skirt the depths of despair. Yet a life chasing grand triumphs, wealth, fame, power often courts. Grand losses too. The millionaire feasts in a gilded hall but may hunger for peace, while the farmer, with calloused hands and a modest table, savors every bite. Nothing comes free. Every gain tips the scales, every loss rights them again. This isn't always instant. Sometimes the compensation stretches across years, across lifetimes, a slow unfolding we can't yet see. That ache you feel today might be the echo of a forgotten joy. That spark of delight, a reward for a buried sorrow. The sages called it a cosmic dance, where every step forward is matched by a step back, every leap answered by a landing. Suffering isn't a flaw to curse. It's a note in the song, promising harmony to come. Look at your own life. What you have, you've paid for. Maybe not with coin, but with time, with struggle, with sacrifice. What you lack, you're spared. From carrying. The scales don't lie. They balance in their own time, in their own way. To grasp this is to stop railing against fate and start trusting the rhythm beneath it. Dancing with the flow. So how do we live with this? How do we step into the rhythm, hold the scales, and not lose ourselves? The answer isn't control, it's awareness. Life's cycles can't be tamed, but they can be ridden, like waves cresting an endless sea. Start by watching. Most of us drift through our days half asleep, missing the patterns stitching our hours together. But they're there. Energy surging, then fading. Moods rising, then dipping. Fortunes turning like leaves in the wind. Notice them. After a burst of creation, writing, building, dreaming, comes a lull, a call to rest. After a storm of anger or grief, a calm settles, soft as dawn. These aren't failures. They're footprints of the rhythm, markers on the path. Next, lean into the shift. When the tide lifts you, ride it. Laugh, create, shine. But don't anchor yourself there. When it pulls back, don't flail. Breathe, wait, trust. A sailor doesn't curse the wind for changing. He adjusts his sails. In joy, plant seeds of gratitude. In pain, sow patience. The wave always turns. Tools can steady you. When the pendulum swings wild, try this. Inhale for 4 counts, hold for 4, exhale for 8. Feel your chest rise, your mind settle. Or carve out silence. 5 minutes of stillness, eyes closed, listening to the hum within. These are anchors, small rituals to root you at the center. Above all, embrace what is. Resistance is the thief of peace. Accepting the swing isn't surrender, it's strength. The rhythm isn't your enemy, it's your teacher, guiding you back to balance. You don't have to love the lows or dread the highs. Just let them pass, knowing you're more than their motion.